officially. My name is Rebecca, and I'm here with a few other members of the Ellevate community and team to walk you through how we can help you figure out what you actually want from work, how to really get ahead to that next step in your career, and most importantly, how to be a really positive influence for change within your team and within your company to make the workplace that you work in, the place that you really want it to be. We're going to walk you through what we do at Ellevate, and then we're going to split up into the type of small conversations that we host on a weekly basis and see kind of what it's all about. And we will come back here for a Q&A afterward to answer any questions that you're thinking of that we haven't gotten to yet. I'd like to especially give a warm welcome to people here from our corporate partners. I think we have people here today from Charles Schwab, from Zendesk, Hogan Lovells, Nova Chemicals, more, I'm sure. So welcome. We're super excited to have all of you here and to make sure you all are have memberships sponsored by your employers. I know it can feel like a lot, I will just say, to turn on your camera, if it's working, and participate in another Zoom meeting. I'm sure we've all been in Zoom meetings or Teams meetings or meetings of some sort all day, all week. But I promise, and you'll see in a minute, talking to other people here is fun and refreshing. It's not like a meeting where you have to present or perform in a certain way. Even if they're people that you don't know, we all have similar stories and similar struggles and goals that connect all of us. And so it's really easy to get to know each other and have a lot of fun really quickly. All right, with that, I'll jump right in. For people who are really, really new to Ellevate, I'm just gonna start by saying Ellevate is the largest community for Women Plus at work. We're a powerful coalition of ambitious, supportive people who help make work more fulfilling. So what we really do is create safe spaces where you can be honest about work, like really talk about what's happening day to day, and get the validation, perspective, the real advice, like tips and best practices that you need in order to move forward and change the situation that you're in. Before we dive into the details of how we do this and what it's going to look like for each of you, I want to just say and talk to what we mean by Women Plus, because for us, Women Plus represents all women, non-binary people, anyone who identifies as underrepresented because of their gender identity. The plus also represents allies, anyone who's willing to work with us towards gender equality. We really believe that gender equality can only be achieved with the collective effort of women, non-binary people, and men together. And it takes all of us really pushing for that goal to make it a reality. So the community is always going to be filled with all of those people and people who share that goal of equality in the workplace. So whether, when you look at your work, right, whether you really want to become more visible in your role, whether you're really trying to have a more inclusive culture within your company and team, whether you have a small business and you want to reach the right clients and grow your client base, what we've seen in doing this work for over 20 years is that the best way to make progress and figure things out is to talk about it and really be able to talk through what things actually look like for you and get advice back in return that's really relevant to what you're saying and relevant to the situation that you're in. However, I probably don't even have to tell you this, but it's really hard to have those conversations and be that honest in a really big crowded room. So like if you walk into a cocktail party of 300 people that you don't know, or you're like posting on your LinkedIn to like 500 plus followers, it's really hard to talk about the actual stuff that you need advice about. So what we do, well, we're always going to be thinking about how to build the most diverse community possible and the largest, most like cross-location, cross-industry, cross-demographic coalition possible. It's equally important to us to help all of you find your people within that big group. Like really find the people who you can trust, who understand what you're going through, and who genuinely want to help you succeed and are going to listen to you as you talk through the things that you need to figure out. Everything we do is really focused on talking about stuff, not just listening, and really processing with people who've been in similar situations, whether it's other senior executives or other business owners, other people managers, whatever kind of spot you're in your career. So, sure you're wondering what that actually looks like and how the components all come together into your Ellevate program. So I'm going to walk you through some of the opportunities that there are to have these conversations every week with Ellevate. So first of all, each of you here will have your own Ellevate program. It's different based on where you are, based on your career, based on your goals. There'll be a different subset of what we do that makes up your program and that's most relevant to you. The program will certainly include first roundtables, which are our drop-in hour-long sessions with other executives or other entrepreneurs, other rising leaders, other peers who are in a similar situation to you. How it works is at each roundtable, an expert first presents on a specific topic, topic that's relevant and interesting to the group. And then we go into small conversations, into breakout rooms to actually dive into discussing the topic that we talked about for the first 10 minutes. What we've found is that expert presentation really provides the perfect conversation starter for a real conversation with other women that gets beyond the small talk, like past the introductions, where you can really talk about situations that you've been in, advice you've received, what's worked for you and hasn't worked for you. And you really get to meet some other people and have a meaningful conversation. So roundtables are at the same time every week. So when it fits your schedule, you can join, meet some other people, share some best practices, drop in. I feel like it always is like a reset on my day. I go in feeling tired and I leave feeling like energized and much better after talking about stuff. So it fits your week, it fits your schedule, you drop in, and weeks when you can't be there, you can't be there. It's not the end of the world. Of the 3 different roundtables, we've listed on the right here some of the recent topics that we've talked about at each one. So you can get a better sense of which one, or maybe 2 or even 3 really fits what you're looking for. You're not at all limited to just joining one. We're happy to have you as many times a week as you want to come chat with us. It just depends who you want to be in the room with, whether it's with other entrepreneurs, other senior executives, or other rising leaders to have those conversations. So second, after roundtables is our squads program, which is a group of the same 6 to 8 women. You'll meet with them over 12 weeks. So if you like the type of conversations and the depth of conversation you can get into in a roundtable, you'll really enjoy how deep and the type of relationships you can build over 12 weeks in a squad. We put together squads twice a year. So we have like everyone applies all together, and then we handpick the right groups of people from all the applicants, both in the spring and in the fall. So the next time to apply is going to be in about a month. It's like mid-June. So the best thing to do now as you think about that June application time is to go to a couple roundtables and start kind of practicing, getting in the habit of having those conversations, figuring out what it is you might want to bring up with your squad, some of the things you might want to get advice on within that 12-week program. And then you'll be really set up well for when applications open. I think it's, don't hold me to this, I think it's June 14th. It's like mid-June, so in about a month. And we'll, of course, we'll get an email. We'll make sure you know when that opens up in June. So in addition, we also have Holding Space forums, which is a monthly community circle we hold them for Black women in the Ellevate community, for LGBTQIA members of the Ellevate community, and seasoned professionals within the community. All 3 are really safe spaces, just connect, share, grow, like take a deep breath and hash it out with some other people who know really where you're coming from. Just really have some shared experiences and get some support from people who really know what it's like. And those are held monthly. So seasoned professionals, and I believe Holding Space for Black women coming up in like 2 weeks. And we just had the one for LGBTQIA members yesterday. So that'll be in another month in June. Lastly, but absolutely not least, we also have monthly local meetups in all of our chapters. And we have chapters all over the world, many in the US and plenty across the world in Dubai and in Europe, etc. The local meetups really help you connect to members who are nearby, whether it's for coffee, it's at a happy hour, it's for a book club, for a workshop, and there's a wide variety of different options available. We have returned in person in a lot of our chapters, which is like finally super, super exciting. I used to list off the chapters here that are in person, but now it's so many of them that it would be faster to list off people who aren't in person. If you have questions about kind of what's coming up, what's happening near you, we can connect you to that information. You should be receiving emails from your chapter too. Of course, we do have safety measures in place, and we adhere to all the local safety guidelines for returning in person, and they vary dramatically based on the city, the state, the country. But we'll keep you in the loop and give you the information you need depending on where you are and who you're meeting up with, which is great. Okay, so I want to take a moment to get started and kind of try some of this out right now, give you a look really at what some of the small group conversations that we have look like and feel like, and who are some of the people you might meet. Before you hit the leave meeting button, which I know is very tempting, and like I have done it before, guilty as charged. All we're gonna do today is some really light introductions. Again, it's not like you have to present something. We're just here to kind of hear where you're at, hear how we can support you, and whatever you're prepared to share or not prepared to share is totally fine. We're gonna be in small groups. Someone from the Ellevate team will be there to facilitate introductions and the conversation, probably like 20, 25 minutes. And then we'll come back here for more information about Ellevate and that Q&A at the end, so you can ask whatever questions you like. All right, sound good, Joanne? Are we ready with breakout rooms?
Perfect. All right, well, everybody, welcome back. We are going to be diving right into the rest of the slides to get into a bit more detail on access levels and how we connect you to your people. So whether you are just trying us out or you're looking for consistent peer support as you're stepping into leadership or starting a business of your own, there is an Ellevate membership option for you. You can start exploring this community with limited access, which is likely what most of you have on this call right now. That's where you'll pay $20 each time you register for a roundtable. It's a free membership, or you can go with one of our paid 12-month memberships for either discounted or totally free tickets to roundtables plus access to squads, 2 squads a year. With basic, you get full access to the website, discounted registration to roundtables, which would be $15 tickets instead of $20. And then there's Proaccess, which is where you really start getting the most out of Ellevate. 2 squads a year, 1 in the fall and 1 in the spring. We are, of course, in the middle of the spring cycle, plus unlimited access to entrepreneur and rising leader roundtables. That is 100 roundtables a year with no registration fee. And finally, we have executive access, which gets you 2 executive squads a year, plus unlimited access to all of those 3 roundtables. So entrepreneur, rising leader, and executive. So that's everything you get with Pro, plus 50 extra executive roundtables a year. So the next slide is just a visual breakdown of all of those access levels to help you process everything I just said. So in addition to those 2 squads a year, you'll be able to see that when you end up coming to more than 1 roundtable a month, Proaccess ends up paying for itself after those 2 roundtable visits, instead of paying $20 each time you wanted to drop in. While we have these membership options up, I did want to take a second to talk more about our corporate partners, which Rebecca mentioned earlier. Ellevate partners with companies of all sizes across industries. Packages for your employees include discounted membership, access to squads and roundtables. So contact Allison, who is here today, and she'll put her email in the chat for you to contact her. And next we have actually from Jess, if she is still here. Oh yeah, there she is, to talk about chapter leader opportunities.
Yeah, thanks so much. I know my internet just decided to stop working for about 30 seconds earlier, so I apologize to the Ellevate team. So chapter leadership teams, what are they? So many of you might know that we have many active chapters all around the world, and that you might not know, what you might not know is that those active chapters doing local events are actually fueled and run by dedicated members. So if you are so interested in playing a role in designing and producing those events in your local chapter, having a say about what topics are talked about, and what kind of formats are, unrolling there, get in touch with us. We have a form that we're going to drop into the chat, a form link, and just let us know that you're interested. It's a great way not only to play a role, like I said, in designing what events are happening locally and building the community there, but also an opportunity to perhaps, build different professional skills that you might not have the opportunity to in your jobs, in your day-to-day, whether that's leadership skills, communication skills, team culture skills, things like that. So yeah, if you're interested, drop us a line. But either way, definitely look up what events are happening in your local chapter and get connected with them. Thanks.
Yes, thank you, Jess. So now we actually have a kind of a special guest. We have someone who is actually on the chapter leader team of Seattle. Tracy is here to kind of share a little bit about her story and her experience with Ellevate.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm Tracy Arakaki. I'm one of the membership leads for the Seattle chapter. I've been a member and chapter membership lead for over 5 years. And by day, I'm a clinical project manager for LabCorp. So some of the things I really love about Ellevate is just the diversity of people I meet from different industries. So when I was first joined Ellevate, I was actually part of an industry specific organization. And what I found, like sometimes you can find solutions to your challenges by speaking to people outside your industry, because we can have certain biases within our own industry of, oh, that's just the way they think because that's the role they play. So I have really found it really helpful to get different people's perspectives based upon a different industry or stage of their career or where they're located. Since I lead global teams, culture is very important, especially on kind of understanding like, oh, well, someone said something this way. One person's like, oh yeah, I'm fine with it. And another person might say, no, that was totally rude. And, it's helpful to know to understand culture. So I love meeting people wherever they are, from whatever background. So I think the membership lead role is perfect for me. Another thing I love is squads. I think I'm on my 9th squad now. And what you experience in the breakout sessions is very similar to what you can experience in squad. And you have a little hot seat. Mine was a few weeks ago. My squad is awesome. They give you candid advice, but out of love and really wanting to make sure that you yourself succeed. So I love squads, absolutely love them. And today's topic was on roundtables, and I went back and looked, and I was like, wow, I've actually attended quite a bit. I love the roundtables because you get to hear a variety of people speak on a variety of topics. And, in any given week, there is something at Ellevate that I can attend. I could, there's just so much. And it's always so helpful. I mean, some of the ones I really like recently that I attended was a roundtable by Kamaka Martin on intentional strengths-based leadership. So we have lots of leadership type topics. And then another one I recently attended was on gaining visibility in a virtual environment. And that's by Nicole Case. If you have opportunity to see Nicole's Case speak or meet with her, she's pretty awesome. And she's also a chapter leader for North Carolina. But it's just really great advice that's being given around. I've also had the opportunity to be a speaker at a round table. So I spoke on constructive conflict and accountability. And that was just a lot of fun, just to sort of speak, here's my experience, here's what I learned. And then we had, I had everyone do a little exercise in the breakout rooms. It was really fun to come back after the breakout rooms and see all these smiles, you know, because people were having meaningful conversations, bringing their challenges and hearing about other people's challenges or how they approached it differently. And it's just been really a lot of fun. So I hope, oh, I see a comment here. Oh, Rebecca, so thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And then, so hopefully I'll be able to see you at one of our upcoming events in Seattle. And so thank you so much for putting the link in for our Seattle chapter. So we have an event coming up on June, coffee chat, stepping into your 2022 intentions, building your personal financial advisory board. And we have our lovely Dina and Lenora, who are our sponsorship and events leads. They'll be hosting and speaking to it. So I hope I can see you there. So thank you very much.
Tracy, thank you so much. And I definitely echo Rebecca. Your Troika method is like amazing for breakout exercises. I gotta love it.
Great, thank you. I'm glad you remembered it. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So now we're going to open up to everyone to kind of ask questions to anyone on the Ellevate team that can help out with your question. So anything we didn't get to in the breakout rooms, feel free to ask.
I have a question. So you guys mentioned, I think it was the holding space rooms, the forums. I'm wondering if you guys have them for people outside of those demographics you mentioned, like, for example, other underserved populations. So I'm Palestinian. I know there's Latinx people, there's, you know, Asian, like all sorts of other people that have issues within the workplace other than the demographics you mentioned. So I'm wondering if you guys have those holding space forums for people like that, or if there's something that can get started.
Yeah, I can speak to that if you like. So the short answer is not yet, but the long answer is that we're developing it. And it's a big priority of ours. To do that, starting sort of in the second half of the year, Q3. So initial phase will be a lot of sort of research of our members and the demographics within our members, and really start to understand what the needs are there. And from that, build out a plan of development for the holding space forums. But it's top of mind, and it's something that's deeply important to us. So yeah, watch this space.
I have a question regarding the squads. So, Christina, you mentioned that they run twice a year, and from when to when, and what happens end of that one session, one season? Do you remix everybody and start a new squad if the same person is continuing? If you can explain that, the whole process.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, fall squads run from late August to like 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, so mid to late November, while the application period before that is about a month and a half, just so that we can put squads together and sort of make them during that time. And then for spring, they run from, I should know this because they're happening right now, early April to end of, we're right in the midpoint now, so 6 weeks from now. I don't know it off the top of my head, but it's like late August, I believe, spring squads run into. And then during that off period, that's when we recommend to attend roundtables so that you can kind of stay in that habit of every week meeting with people and talking about challenges. So during that off period, there's still so many opportunities to do that, but we also are constantly improving squads for every new cycle. So it's likely that you could be in the same squad with someone else that you were in, you know, if you're doing squads in the fall and you saw someone in your squad from the spring, that happens. I mean, Tracy, you've been in 9 squads. I don't know if you've had like similar people from every time, but we're constantly trying to improve that and make sure that you're, you know, seeing new faces every time.
I have had different people in each one of my squads. And, you know, sometimes people say, oh, the squad may not have was not really a good match for me, in which I always advise people, go look at your profile and update it. I mean, my goals and challenges from 2 years ago is different than today. So it's really important so that the algorithm can match you up really well.
Thank you.
Deborah, I see your hand is up. Do you want to unmute?
I do. I have a question about chapter leadership. I am such an advocate for women who, and such a supporter and always have been, but I am in New Jersey and I know there is a chapter operating in North Jersey. I'm more in the central southern part of Jersey, and I just wanted to know I mean, Jersey is the most densely populated state per square mile in the country, but you know, I don't know what your rules are as far as how you determine where the chapter leadership goes. So that's my question before I start to consider it.
I can jump in. So the good news is we do have 2 Jersey chapters. We have a central New Jersey and we have a northern New Jersey. Okay. So yeah, so I would love to chat with you further about it. Yeah, join the best one that suits your location. But also I would say in addition to that, we're in a whole new world now. All of our chapters, I'm pretty sure, do online events as well as they're starting to all come back to in-person too. So, you know, having that virtual offering really opens up a lot of opportunity there for our members. So you might not be directly located in a chapter, but maybe you want to really play a strong role in that online offering and presence, and build your own skill sets up through that.
I don't mind the driving. Most people in this area are, I mean, I commuted to JFK for 15 years. So from the Jersey Shore. By the way, Allison, I saw your question and you're in Shrewsbury. I'm in Long Branch. I'm like in Shrewsbury right now talking to you from the parking
35.
lot. So are you in the Central Jersey group, Allison?
So I work at Ellevate for Ellevate headquarters, but I'll participate in Central New Jersey events, Northern New Jersey events, New York City. I'll go to Philly sometimes. I used to travel a lot, you know, visiting all of our chapters, but yeah.
Okay, if the need is met, that's great. I just want to be, I want to be a part of exactly what the terminology is, elevating women to achieve what they want to in whatever phase of life they're in. So thank you for that.
I have a question. Allison mentioned in our breakout the opportunity to present and offer workshops to the various different groups, and that's something that I would love to potentially offer. I'm just wondering, what's the best approach to get involved? Should I start at the local level, or is there kind of a process that I should engage with to see if it's a good fit and formats and topics?
Sure, I can answer that. So to start, we definitely recommend attending a few roundtables first. I don't know if you have already, but if you haven't, definitely start there.
Okay.
And then once a quarter, I'd say, we send out, you know, a call for speakers at roundtables. I'm not sure if you have one that you're kind of a part of already, like the Entrepreneur, Rising Leader, or Executive. But we will put out a call for that, and definitely, like I said, attend one, but attend the one that you want to speak at, whether that's Entrepreneur, Rising Leader, or Executive.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And Jessica, I'll just add, whenever you are ready to let us know that you are interested in speaking at something soon, If you go to your member profile, you'll see a link there where you can submit that request. And it's a form where you can just let us know what topics you're interested in. If you have, a specific presentation already in mind, you can let us know all about it. We gather up all that info so that if there's something that we already know we're wanting to schedule and is a good fit, or we know of a local chapter that is looking for a speaker on that topic, we'll make that connection and get you scheduled.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. So I don't necessarily need to wait for the call requesting. I can submit and then you'll let me know if it's a good fit, or if not, I can also submit during the call.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Thanks.
I'm going to jump in one more time. If anyone joined us a little bit late during the presentation today, during the session, we are recording it. So that is going to be up on the website in the next day or so. So you can go back and replay anything that you might have missed.
And I'm just going to put in the chat our email if you had any more questions that you thought of maybe after this call. Feel free to email that address and we'll get back to you with an answer in like 2 days or so.
I see Dr. Mead. Have you got your hand up? Feel free to come on screen. Hi.
Hi. So I'm in Seattle, so it was really cool to see Tracy, someone that I could connect with maybe locally soon. But I have really little children and kind of have to work around their schedules. I'm wondering how often it's possible to just kind of get recordings and kind of work around a schedule that might not fit with a lot of the events.
That is a really, really great question. So our weekly roundtables, they are hosted at the same time on the same day of the week. So for example, entrepreneurs meet every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, rising leaders every Thursday at noon, and executives meet every Tuesday at 1 p.m. All times Eastern. So when to expect those. You can keep them on your calendar so that when you do have that afternoon free, you can hop on and join us at that time. And the presentations for those are always recorded. The breakout rooms are always a private conversation and you don't have to worry about that being shared. But the presentation portion of a roundtable is recorded. And again, you'll find those videos up on our website on the same page where you actually registered for that roundtable. You'll see the recording when it's up. And then, our local chapters host lots of networking opportunities, sometimes some workshops or more, content related events that you can join that aren't necessarily all at the same day, same time every week. So there's still going to be those one-off events that you can either plan ahead for, or if you find yourself one afternoon where all the kiddos are taking a nap at the same time, you can jump on and see if there's something available at that time.
Okay, and then if, for example, I can make it to a roundtable and saw the video, and then I could contact maybe the presenter if I had questions or something like that, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Our presenters are really great about sharing their contact information, and most of the time they're Ellevate members themselves. So you'll either be able to send them an email or a direct message right on the Ellevate platform. So yes, absolutely connect with the speakers.
Great. Thank you.
Bye, Deborah.
We actually have one more slide to share before we end the call, which is just a roundup of the roundtables coming up. So next Tuesday for the executive roundtable, we're talking about defining the future of work. And then the two that are on next Thursday, that's not tomorrow, that is next week, how empathy and accountability work together. That's next Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And then lessons you learned from the from the first half of 2022, that's the entrepreneur roundtable, next Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern. So definitely hope to see you there. I'll be at the Defining the Future of Work for the Executive Roundtable next Tuesday at 1. So I hope to see everyone there.
Thanks, everyone. So good to meet you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next Thursday, hopefully, or tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Tracy.
Thank you. Bye.